Thank you, everybody, for coming to our board meeting this evening. Today is October 4th, 2023, and it's our regular board meeting. If you'd please stand for the pledge of actually, before we stand, the emergency exits are located on that side of the library and along. Now, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Anglin?
Here.
Mr. Oswald?
Here.
Mr. Shane? Here. Ms. Oakley Edwards? Ms. Shanley? Ms. DeSimone? Here. Ms. Reese? Here. Mr. Izzo?
Present.
Mr. Hines?
Here. Next is, do we have any visitor recognition on agenda items?
No.
No. Okay, since there's no visitor recognition on the agenda items, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Van.
Right. Good evening, everyone. I always say days like this are the best days at a school. You have senior nights up in the field, you have back to school night here, and then you got the board meeting all going on at once. So there's been a ton of just people around, and it's always nice. But that's the purpose of the school, right? It should be the central hub of the community. So it's just awesome and great to see. Just a few things that I just wanted to talk about and mention. We had a very productive meeting last Friday. The district did in regards to the turf field situation. And it was a great meeting and progressing, and hopefully I'll have an update on that sooner rather than later. So I was very, very excited to hear about that. They were looking very close to coming up with a resolution. And I will say on the flip side of that, as the capital project are going through some punch list items to try to finalize this. Some are going sooner than planned, and others are not. So we are having issues, and there's been a phone company working with us actually all week this week, just trying to work out our phone situation that we're currently having. Just give me 1 second. So, we're working on that. So some things are progressing faster, some things are going a little bit slower, but it's all moving in the same direction. So I'm very happy about that, and I think part that you will be hearing me speaking about more is one of the areas that I am excited about. There's an agenda item on the agenda tonight about the guest speaker for our October 20th Professional Development Day. So, I will take no credit. Dr. Miller did a great job in securing one of the top educational speakers actually in the country to come into Catskill to, have a thought-provoking conversation with our entire staff on our district. So I'm super excited to be able to present that for you guys' approval tonight. Like I said, when I first came here, we want a very high-quality professionals and high-quality professional development for our staff so they can continue to grow, because Catskill is the best school district, and we need to show our professionals as the best school district by bringing in some of the top professionals in support of their work. And that's really all I have for the superintendent report.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to board action discussion items. The first item on the agenda is to accept the agenda as presented. Is there any need to move any items on the agenda, or are we all agreed to move forward with the agenda as presented?
I have a basic question. Is, what is the REACH program? I don't know if that question needs to take that out of the consent agenda.
So REACH is it's a company, and they are the owner and creator of that company is the woman, Dr. George Fields, who created the DTSDE review for New York State. So because our schools, the middle schools on a list for some certain categories, we get a grant to help support the middle schooler in improving those marks in those categories. So what this would be doing is bringing in this company, the company that actually created the review, to do an independent evaluation of not just the middle school, but our entire district, because it's how are the kids going into the middle school, and what's happening when the kids are leaving the middle school, to give us, to help support us in creating a comprehensive correction plan for our district as a whole. And that's all paid for through
Academic.
Correct. Well, it's there's many components of it. So it is academic, climate and culture, it's community, there's a whole aspect of it. And it's 2.5 days per, they would be here for 2.5 days per building, and doing the review and then presenting their findings afterwards. And then part of that contract is also the professional development that's linked after the review. So after the review, it's not just they give us a sheet of paper and need a report, they would actually be providing, I forget how many hours was the number in the contract, but they'd be providing PD to either administrators and or staff, depending on what they find in the review process that help us, move forward.
Yeah, that looked like it was like 20 days of meeting, so is that, it's like they'll do small groups at a time?
It's based on the need.
Okay.
So we wanted it to be flexible, because you don't know what they're going to find when they come in, right? And then how are we prioritizing the findings from the report after they come in? And it might be, it might be something that sticks out that's specific to the middle school, or it might be something that they see district-wide, that we want to work on something district-wide, but it might be something that's specific for administrators, where they might be getting training on something, or it might be to specific groups of teachers, or specific professionals, like PPS staff, but we wanted that to be flexible based on their findings. So it could be small group, it could be whole group, it could be really, it's really based on what comes out of the findings. Like I said earlier in my review, in my superintendent report is, they have brought in a company, I want to say it was almost 7 or 8 years ago to do similar work, but I brought in the person who created the rubric. So I'm bringing in the person who actually created a rubric to do this work, right? I'm not the most high quality person to come here to support us in that.
I worked with her, so, and it was just great.
I'm sorry, you said you thought it was great.
I worked with her, so. I was happy to be
Okay, then if I can get a motion to accept the agenda as presented. Lenora? Second? Gary? All in favor of accepting the agenda? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll move forward then to the consent agenda. So for tonight's board action consent, we have the approval of minutes from the prior, from the September 6th board meeting, acceptance of a $200 donation from Target to support the Catskill room at the CES. Did somebody solicit that, or was that unsolicited? We should thank whoever
Solicited?
who got it.
Solicited.
Well, thank you, whoever solicited it. Approval of contracts, approval of the FCCLA field trip, approval of transportation contracts, approval of budget transfers, acceptance of the treasurer's report for August 2023, acceptance of the extra classroom account report for June, acceptance of 504 recommendations, acceptance of CSE and CPSE recommendations, authorization of a prior settlement, and this is related to the Jewel lawsuits where all schools in our area have been getting money back for their actions of promoting vaping among the youth. We're getting an additional settlement amount to go to the general fund. Approval of agreements, we have the agreement reached, as Dr. Dan has spoken on, the Speakers Bureau for the upcoming TV, and public memorial possibility. And on personal agenda, we changed the format slightly to make it a little easier for people to look through. We have some resignations on the staff. We have, the first one is Dean Benjamin. As people know, he's been a fixture here on Catskill for many, many years. He's kept the grounds outside looking immaculate, helped out all of our sports teams getting set up and prepared for their competitions. And his departure in April will be sorely missed, and he's still got some times here, so hope to get somebody to backfill and get some of that experience transferred to the next generation. We also have Nicole Adi, who's accepted a different position within the district. For non-instructional, and then the next thing is non-instructional staff appointments, and Nicole Adi is replacing Ted Fruit's position, which is food service worker. Okay. For non-instructional staff appointments, we have Artis Brantley, who's starting as a cleaner. Non-instructional staff extracurricular appointments, we have approval for Claire Conan as a door monitor, Mary Beth Pagliacco for a tutor, Kathleen Hendricks as a tutor, Marcus McGregor as the musical drama director, Isis Gonzalez for a volunteer as a cross-country helper. And there's a bunch of chaperones we're approving on this one. So there is Nick Baker, Tina Brazal, Chelsea, Rick Graham, Kelly Gillich, Luis Camarada, Billie Jean Cartwright, Mike Hart, Jennifer Henderson, Kathleen Hendricks, Claire Oden, Kayla Jones, Karina Jones, Lula Juby, Gary Crum, Brandon Lavio, Robin Mayuri, Stephanie McCullough, Donald Osborne, Megara Overbaugh, Vicki Smith, and Kimberly Bella. And then for instructional staff, we have additionally Christy Allens, Melvin Banks, Wendy Castellino, Stacy Collier, Elizabeth Conrad, Elizabeth Gailey, Seth Galley, Jeffrey Dudzik, Arian Holdridge, Carlisle, Kelly Console, Nicole McLean, Thomas McAllister, Courtney Neer, Jayla Ostrowski, Michelle Stores Ryan, and Mary Jo Chisholm. We're appointing Brian Smith as the new athletic director for the remainder of the school year. Christy Allen as the new senior class advisor.
I have a question on Columbia Memorial Hospital agreement. Is there going to be a position available in-house in the school, or is that just a position available to?
There are school doctors, so that's a contract, so that they are our school positions. So no,
Right, but are they going to have an office here? No. So
They come in to do like sports physicals, they're available if there's an accident or illness, right?
they're
we have to have-
they're
we
there
have
to
to have-
support the school first.
We have to have a bylaw, so not all we have to have is a school doctor. And that's we've been using that, from my understanding, for years.
They're the hospital there. So,
Well, no, it's not.
They used to have, for a while, they had a specific doctor assigned to the district. That was changed. Because he retired, now it's just a general, like, contract with the service.
But they're available if the school needs somebody here.
Yeah.
If somebody gets hurt, are they available or not?
Well, what they're,
They're strictly here for, they're not here for emergency care, they're just here for strictly,
providing
providing, sports.
That's part of it. When we need them for certain situations, there's times where sometimes students have to go to meet with them for certain reasons, staff members have to go with it for certain reasons. So
They're not teaching any health classes.
No.
I actually missed a few. There's still some non-instructional substitute appointments. Desiree Carr, Colleen Gray, Evan Fusello, and Cynthia Valentine, and instructional substitutes, Desiree. Why is she? She can get both. Okay, so Desiree Carr, and it's Colleen Gray, and Cynthia. And that ends all the items on our consent agenda. Can I get a motion for the consent agenda? Mary, can I get a second? Ryan? All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. We now move on to board reports. I will say that we had a tremendous BB experience this last weekend. It was really good to have to work together with a facilitator from New York State School Board Association to help us grow and learn as a board. I thought it was a valuable day. Is there any other reports the board would like to share at this time? Patty, anything? Lee, anything? I,
We haven't always seen a meeting earlier, but probably with some kind of written sort of
Joe, anything you'd like to add?
No, not at this time, thank you.
Mary?
I did the last meeting, so I wanted to say that I have been participating in the back to school, the pre-K welcome to school event and programs, and they've been outstanding, very, very impressive, and everything has gone so smoothly. Really.
I just remembered. I had attended the football game, Catskill and Hudson, which Catskill. And I did have some comments concerning our items for the school. And I was wondering if that's part of what we're doing as a package. Because that scoreboard is useless. It is. In a football game, it didn't tell you what down. It didn't.
That comes down to the operator, I think.
I mean, there was no.
So when it comes to the scoreboard for a football game, let's say, if it is not an official running the scoreboard, then a lot of those aspects will not occur. And that it's actually unofficial time as well, because the officials there's an official that one of their jobs is to keep the time. So at our events, and usually only changes once it turns into playoff season, and usually once playoff season comes, you might start seeing the increase of more officials at events where they give you a timekeeper or things of that nature.
But so the school doesn't have an individual or individuals that can operate.
So there is a job posting for, I forget the exact terminology, they just shifted it, but I think it's a time clock operator. But it's unofficial.
Okay.
It's unofficial. It can only be official if an official does it.
What are we saying? Is that saying that we would not normally operate this outside of having a section to like official, certified official come in different time period?
So we do it ourselves.
But we wouldn't put it on the scoreboard unless it was an official permit.
Correct, like the extra things, like the downs, yardage, things of those natures. So normally it's time, normally it's time and it's school. Like it's our staff that do it, it's time and school is what they keep up.
Just time and school. Is there a place on the scoreboard to indicate downs?
I would have to look and see, I believe so.
So, Ron, I mean, this really falls, I guess, under the building and grounds. So, I mean, a building and grounds meeting can look into, making sure that the scoreboard is satisfactory for the school's needs.
I mean, a scoreboard was working, but it's just didn't tell you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lenora, anything that you'd like to share? We're going to move on to committee reports and other matters. I don't think we've had any committee meetings since the last meeting. Is there anything for committee reports? No. I'm going to move on then to other matters. So the one other matter we do have is, so Lee, I just want to confirm you want to serve, you're going to serve on building and grounds committee? Yes, sir. Okay. So we're going to put Lee on building and grounds, and Mary, I believe you're going to function as a chair of policy. Is that correct?
Yeah.
We have only two members on the policy committee, so I really would prefer to try to find a way to get a third member on the policy committee. Can you? I'm sorry. Okay. You do it, Joe, and Lenora. Okay, we can have. When does it meet?
It's the first Friday of every month at 12. Is it 12:30 or 1? Is it 1?
That won't be is three.
We can have more than three.
What?
We can have more than three members.
You can have up to four, but that's only if, but the board president can do that. Right, so we're supposed to only have three. So three would be, it's preferred. Well, that's not.
Do we have three members?
So, both of you have been suggested.
I'll defer to
So I can't make the decision on behalf of the board, so.
No, I understand.
Yeah, so you two, Lenore and Joe have both offered to serve as the third member. I'm sorry, do we know if you guys decide amongst yourselves?
I defer to Lenore. She would like
Oh,
to
you
be
defer to Lenore? Okay. So we're gonna put Laura as the third member. Joe, I got you in finance and audit, and I know you're gonna be a valuable addition to budget, so that's gotta be a big one too, budget advisory as we go forward. That doesn't come until closer to the budget season. I'm sorry.
I'm already working on it.
Okay, so that means that all of our meetings that are fully filled, do you want me to summarize that in email to you? So you can put it, okay, great. Okay, so, unless if there's any other matters, anything else? No, we'll move on to visitor recognition on school-related non-agenda items. Is there any non-agenda items? Nobody signed in? Okay, since we do not need an executive session tonight, so then I would like a motion for adjournment. Adam, second, Ryan, all in favor of adjournment? Opposed? Anybody really want to stay the rest of the night? Motion is carried. Well, that doesn't need to be a board meeting, you're welcome to go on. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Appreciate everybody coming.